Hi, I'm Debbie, and I'm a life and relationship coach who helps parents of teens and young adults with mental illness or addiction to let go of their fears and live a life of peace and purpose while building a loving relationship with their child. Today, what I want to talk to you about is when when our story does not look like what life looks like. And so, what I mean is many times we have this idea of what we want life with our child to look like, what we want for our child. So maybe it's based upon how we grew up in our childhood and what we did. Maybe it's based upon role models or even the media. And so it many times this is not going to match what your life with a child with an illness like mental illness or addiction looks like. And so when we keep this image, this story of what we expect life to be like, and this different view here of what the life is actually like, and they don't match, this is when we have even more pain. And so we don't really want to add more pain to ourselves, which is going to spill over into our relationship with our child. So, what we want is for things to really match. And how can we do this? Um, so, we can start out by looking at the life circumstances and maybe is there anything that we can change here? And maybe there is, but sometimes really there isn't. And that's okay too, because we want to be able to accept where our child is and what our child is capable of doing and what life does actually look like. Because even if we don't like what life looks like, if we don't accept it, it's already happening. And so when we fight against something that's already happening, there's even more tension. And so what we want to do if we cannot change the life circumstances right now, what we want to do is we want to look at our story and what can we do to change our story, to rewrite our story so that it matches right now. Because that's the big thing that is going to lead to more more acceptance of how things really are, because it's really hard to accept something when it's really different than our story, than how we expect things to be. So we do want to kind of rewrite the story. And what this also does is, besides helping ourselves with this inner peace and this inner conflict and this inner tension, is it also indirectly it helps our child in our relationship, because our energy comes across as different. We're not like, we don't have this anger or resentment that life is looking different right now, that comes in, that can come across in our relationship without us even realizing it. And so we can just have more of an inner peace. And that's not to say, I know so many times we are going through crisis and we're going through really difficult situations, but we don't need to add um, this extra burden on it. So if you found this helpful or this resonates with you or you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments.